Virginia, and to develop a long-term solution to move our transportation system forward. For 6 years, the coalition has banded together to talk about the crisis and, most importantly, to talk about solutions going forward. And what a difference a year makes. When we were here last year, we talked about declining revenues to the Department of Highways. We talked about bad roads were costing West Virginia drivers $1.4 billion annually in driving on bad roads. We were sending West Virginia construction companies and West Virginia workers to North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, everywhere else to find a job, but here within the state of West Virginia. We also said last year that West Virginia's bridges had climbed to 5th worst in the nation. That was down from 14 to 12 to 8 in about a 5-year period. So today, we are celebrating a $2.8 billion road package and passage of the Roads to Prosperity Road Bond Amendment. Today, we are here to FTDR, fix the damn roads. Many of you here today, through your hard work, through your dedication, your grassroots support, and your monetary contributions to West Virginians for better transportation, were key to passing and also to the Roads to Prosperity Bond Amendment. And because of your efforts, of the people who are here today, the Road Bond Amendment passed by a majority of 73% by the voters of West Virginia. What a tremendous, tremendous result of your all's efforts. As any organization, such as West Virginians for Better Transportation, you need a leader and you need a coach to step forward to provide a vision and goal. Last year, we got that coach and we got that leader. His vision that we could create thousands of jobs and economic development through building highways. And we were hoping to have our governor here today. Something has come up and he is not able to attend, but we are honored to have with us Ann Early, who is Deputy Chief of Staff for Governor Justice, who is going to say a few words. Ann, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Earling. I'm the Governor's Deputy Chief of Staff, or as he calls me sometimes, his assistant coach. Thank you all for being here today. This past October, voters in West Virginia had what the governor called the most historic vote in the history of our state, where we overwhelmingly approved the Road to Prosperity Bond. The citizens in our state have spoken loudly. They want jobs, they want opportunity, and they want change. They want hope. Hope that we can take some action and do something about this terrible drug epidemic. And we think that this program will be our pathway to genuinely do something about this. We think having a good job will help, and this is going to jumpstart our economy. So many people had said that we couldn't get this Roads to Prosperity across the finish line, but we did. The governor appreciates everyone's efforts, especially Mike Clauser, the Contractors Association, West Virginians for Better Transportation, and everyone here. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much. The governor has said this will be our starting point. We will build on this. Now is the time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. We will have new roads, new jobs, and new hope on the horizon. We have a list of over 500 projects that we need to build here in West Virginia, and this investment is going to put our state's infrastructure and create thousands of jobs. We will be starting job fairs this spring, and projects are going to start, and dirt is going to be turned. Optimistic and very hopeful about all of the great things we have teed up for our state. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. This is just the beginning of a lot of good things to come. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Ann. As any team, you need a number of players, and certainly the West Virginia Senate was a major player in us being here today to celebrate this victory. Last year, Senate President Mitch Carmichael said at this Transportation Day, infrastructure is the key to moving West Virginia forward. The Senate will make highway funding a priority in West Virginia. It is imperative that we recognize West Virginia's economy is tied to infrastructure development. President Carmichael not only passed the highway bill once, he passed it twice, and he also became a tireless supporter of the Roads to Prosperity bond amendment. The President is now promoting a career and technical college tuition bill to make sure that we have the future workforce to build West Virginia's infrastructure. Mr. President, West Virginians for Better Transportation appreciate your leadership and support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be with you this morning. This feels so much different than last year. As it was alluded to earlier, we came to the legislature last year confronting a $500 million deficit, and now we're sitting with a surplus. We have passed the Roads to Prosperity Amendment. We work together as Republicans and Democrats to achieve this objective, as business and labor, as all West Virginia citizens have come together to put our state first, to build the modern transportation infrastructure system that's required for a 21st century economy, to use West Virginia citizens to build these amazing projects, to fill the coffers of our state with the money and the prosperity and the opportunity and the jobs that are inherent with projects like this, with a big vision, with an optimistic hope for the future. I feel that in this state, and I see it in your eyes. And so I'm so thankful to be a part of this, play a small part, as with many of my other colleagues and my friends that are in the audience here today. You have helped push this state forward, and there's many more great things to come. So thank you so much, and let's work together to not only continue this path to progress, but to deliver on the confidence that the people of West Virginia have placed in us by approving this bond. And so it's up to us now to deliver these big results. Let's do it in an amazing fashion, earn the confidence, and keep this state marching forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next speaker is Senator Greg Boso of Nicholas County, Chairman of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I don't think Senator Boso had any clue what he was getting himself into last year when the governor proposed and Transportation Secretary Smith put forward all the bills that came forward last year relating to highways. Not only did he have all of the highway funding bills in his committee successfully dealt with the public-private partnership bill, the design-build bill, a bill to continue the tolls on the West Virginia Turnpike, and also approving the constitutional amendment to sell road bonds. Speaking at West Virginia Expo in March last year, Chairman Boso stated, Senate Bill 477 raises taxes and fees no one wants to tackle, but people want their roads fixed and they want to travel safely. I think people are ready to pay for better roads. They know that good roads come at a cost. Senator Boso's efforts and those of his colleagues were instrumental in running the governor's funding program. Please welcome Chairman Greg Boso.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. And I'm excited. You are excited too. There's a lot of opportunity and hope in West Virginia because we are getting ready to build roads and transportation systems to not only get our goods and exports out of West Virginia, but to welcome others from all over the country into West Virginia. And I'm excited for that, as I'm sure you are too. More importantly, what I'm excited about is putting West Virginians to work. And, you know, anywhere that I go, West Virginians want that hope. We're bringing it. Steve, I appreciate seeing you shaking your head because, you know what, I've enjoyed working with you to make sure that we're being able to get West Virginia workers into the dirt, laying asphalt and laying pipe around our state. It is a matter of getting also our engineering community to work. And as a civil engineer, I'm the only registered design professional sitting in either of the two houses. I'm really excited to see West Virginia engineers being able to build, not only design, but also see built the infrastructure that's going to bring West Virginia to prosperity. Mike, thank you for your efforts, and to the governor, I appreciate his foresight as we look to move West Virginia forward into the 22nd century. Thank you.
Secretary Woody Thrasher probably joined us this morning. He is in a committee meeting now talking about his budget, but it is our opportunity and pleasure to introduce the man who is going to be in charge of building our roads and maintaining and fixing our roads in the state of West Virginia. Tom Smith, about a year ago, I guess, Mr. Secretary, was appointed Secretary of Transportation and Commissioner of the Department of Highways. And Tom has not stopped one day since that time going around the state of West Virginia promoting highways, promoting funding, promoting the road bond. And I think everyone in the engineering industry, the construction industry, and I think the legislative body in the whole believes that Secretary Smith is the right person for the right job at the right time. He has instilled confidence in the Department of Highways. He has certainly instilled confidence in the personnel in the Division of Highways who will be carrying out a lot of work that will be going forward. And Tom, before I introduce you to come up, I'd like to ask Chris Hamilton, Chairman of the West Virginia Business and Industry Council, and Michael Haid with our Consulting Engineers Group to come up for a presentation. Dale Lee with the West Virginia Education Association was going to join us this morning, and unfortunately Dale's gotten ill and couldn't make it. But Dale and Chris and Michael and I had the pleasure of traveling in the state with the governor to go to all parts of the state to talk about the importance of the road bond amendment. And it was very clear once we got there that everyone was not there to listen to us. They were there to listen to the governor and to talk about his goal and his vision. And when the governor was running a little bit late, Secretary Smith would tell us, stretch it out, stretch it out. And the governor was on time, we got the hook to get off the podium and introduce the governor. But we had planned to present to the governor this morning just a token of everyone's appreciation for his work, because we know the governor likes signs, we know the governor likes whiteboards, we know the governor likes pens, and everywhere we went, we had roads all around the state. We took our roads equals jobs. So Tom, if we could ask you to come up, we'd like to make a presentation to you that you could present to the governor. We have a new sign, and this new sign is Governor Jim Justice equals roads. Tom, we wish you well. First, you're here. This body here today is ready, willing, and able to go to West Virginia. Please, Secretary Tom Smith.
Thank you so very much, Mike, and I will absolutely make sure Governor Justice gets this. He will love that, and I think you'll see it either in his office or out in the waiting area there. I know he will enjoy that, so thank you very much. Wow, what a difference a year makes. If I think back exactly a year, when we had this same meeting last year, a number of us were holding the trip report up, sort of like John the Baptist out there singing the numbers, and the numbers were going in the wrong direction. Our bridge numbers, deficient bridges were going in the wrong direction. Our mileage of pavement with good conditions going in the wrong direction. Our safety numbers all going in the wrong direction. So I'll say what changed, and what changed was the Roads to Prosperity program, a major, eye-popping program that will make such a difference in the state of West Virginia. So I really have to start by recognizing my boss, Governor Jim Justice, as the person who had the foresight, the vision to think that economic recovery could be fueled by transportation. It's an exciting time for us in transportation to have that role. And I've told our folks at West Virginia DOH and our contractors, our consultants, we need to embrace that and roll with it. It's an awesome role to have, and it's neat to see that this can actually be the spark that changes our state. So the Roads to Prosperity program is the change. Governor Justice is the man who had the vision. He is the coach that helped the team get across the finish line. So again, I know he likes the coach label. I like that too. The team got across the finish line with this program. It's a big program. It's almost $3 billion. Almost $3 billion. It's a bold program, thousands and thousands and thousands of immediate jobs, and it brings economic recovery immediately. So what a deal. And again, my hat's off to my boss, Governor Jim Justice, for that. I certainly want to thank the legislature and as you saw, the leadership here today that represents the legislature and how they helped us get across the finish line. I look in the audience and see our private sector partners. I see our contractors represented. I see our consultants represented. Thank you. That is the way this program will be done, is working together in partnership. Well, where are we today? This is just really neat news from a transportation point of view. From a transportation point of view, in just 7 months, keep in mind the first penny didn't start flowing until July the 1st. So in just 7 months, West Virginia DOH has worked with our private sector partners to get over $350 million worth of contracts out on the street. 7 months, $350 million. The Obama stimulus back in 2009 was only $220 million, and that took 2 years to get out. So we've got all that work out on the street. Many of the projects that were done last summer were smaller projects, easier projects. Resurfacing on the interstate, on U.S. routes, on secondary off-federal aid system routes. Many of those projects were actually stood up and completed last year. You should be seeing those around the state. But 2018 is going to be a landmark year. If you look at what's going to go out the door in the next 4 months, by June, the 1-year anniversary of the Roads to Prosperity program, we will be over $1 billion of additional work on the streets, and eye-popping over $1 billion. Now, when you look at what will happen with that is the next 4 months we'll be starting to have the first really big projects out the door. The middle of May, stay tuned, that's when the first installment of general obligation bonds are to be sold, $800 million. And those will allow us to get to the really big projects like the Nitro St. Albans Bridge here, projects like the Wheeling bridges, 25 bridges there that are falling apart in front of our eyes. Now, a number of those bigger projects, we'll be working with contractors who will be doing the final design for us. So what you'll see is that we'll hand those contracts off, and then they'll be doing those final stages of design. So some of that, you won't see a lot of stuff happening in 2018. But I'm excited to tell you that many projects will be starting up in the very first part of the construction season in 2 or 3 months. I want to tell you about some of those. The first that I'll mention is the Turnpike widening job on I-77 in Beckley. It's almost $100 million to do a very much needed widening job down there. That will be the first general obligation bond project that actually turns dirt, and that will turn dirt in June or July. Likewise, on US Route 10, in southern West Virginia, we opened the section last year from Logan to Man. But one of the things that is going to be a really neat project is operational improvements all the way from Man to Kegley, almost to Bluefield. We'll be working to improve the operational characteristics to make Route 10 flow much better the whole length of it. you'll see that project starting up almost immediately as soon as we actually have good weather. Finally, in addition to that, the contracts that were let last fall for interstate reconstruction are quite notable. Over the last 10 years, because we've not had the funds, we've only rebuilt about 7 miles of interstate on I-79. We will have 60 miles of complete interstate reconstruction going on all over the state. I-77, I-79, I-64, I-81, everywhere you'll have these reconstruction projects and significant resurfacing work. So you're going to see lots of orange drums all over the state. Stay tuned. You're going to see stuff really starting to ramp up as soon as the weather turns. I'll end by saying, what are the several words that we are living by at West Virginia DOH right now? The first of those I'll say is transparency. We owe it to you, the public, to make sure we're operating in a way that you fully understand what we're doing. We're out and about and willing to talk to anyone and to describe what we're doing. We're putting information out on websites so the public can find out anything they want to know about projects, everything from soup to nuts. The second word is accountability. We recognize we have a job to earn the public trust at highways. We have an awesome responsibility with this program, and we are dedicated to doing it right. The third word is jobs. This is all about jobs. You're going to see hiring start to ramp up. I want to bring your attention to a special event that the Contractors Association and the Highway Department are sponsoring at Bridge Valley Community and Technical College on February the 16th from 10 to 2. If you're looking for work in highways, come there, sign up. We'll have contractors there. We'll have folks really ramping up to start the hiring process. And then the final thing I'll say, the final word we're living by is true economic recovery. The winds of change are blowing, and those winds of change are optimistic winds. We look forward to a great 2018 with you. Thank you for being here today.
Secretary Thrasher has joined us today. Woody Thrasher, as Tom, was named Secretary of Commerce last year before the session started. And I don't think the Secretary speaks his crowd much, especially in the United States. He's just got back from China, promoting West Virginia, promoting jobs, and when you listen to the Secretary, he understands the nexus between good roads, good transportation, and creating economic development opportunities in West Virginia. So, welcome home, Mr. Secretary.
Mike, I agree with everything you just said. It's critically important for this highway program to go forward. I was so glad to see the voters sort of overwhelmingly support it. I will tell you, we are all very blessed to have a governor who recognizes that we need bold leadership and bold changes. And we're also very blessed to have a Secretary of Transportation in Tom Smith. You could not ask for a better steward of these funds than Tom. You really have to count your blessings that he's in charge. I think we all really should give him a round of applause. He's doing a terrific job. One thing that we do under this administration is the governor has appointed a bunch of people in secretary positions that communicate, get along, collaborate, and work together. The secretary's been extremely supportive of the things we've done in the development office. One example with this new highway program, we've got a great site called Apple Grove. It's going to require Route 2 to be relocated, and so we put it on a list of projects that we would ask for him to consider for future funding. We believe that these highways are going to jumpstart the economy of West Virginia, and we believe that development with funding will be able to sort of backstop that. My nose dropped. So, in summary, I want to congratulate Tom for the great job he's doing. It's critically important to jumpstart our economy. They're off and running. We need to backstop that with jobs through commerce. And I think it's just going to be a great success for West Virginia. Thank you.
As Secretary Smith stated, we're talking about jobs, thousands of jobs in the construction industry. Engineering firms who are already hiring people. We have Contractors Association of West Virginia members who the very first thing they did with the passage of the highway bills and subsequently the road bond amendment they have brought their people home. They were working in other states, and those are the first West Virginians that are coming back to West Virginia to build and maintain and fix West Virginia's roads. As the Secretary mentioned, there is going to be a jobs fair February 16th at Bridge Valley. We encourage anyone who's interested in a career to join us for that meeting. You can go on the website, CAWV website, at cawv.org, and that will give all the information on how to register. This concludes today's program, but it is only the start of a greater highway program in West Virginia, greater jobs in West Virginia, and a brighter future for West Virginia. And that is because of the people that are here today, both from the legislature, both from the governor's office, and also from everyone who has been supporters of West Virginians for better taking. Thank you for coming, and thank you.